Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesh Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam, Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Madamidam Tatra Dharana Paraha, Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunaya Vatirna Kalau, Samarpayitum Unnatojvala Rasa Swabhakti Shriyam. Hari Purata Sundara Dhyuti Kadamba Sandipita, Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratu Vashachi Nandana. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jagat Mangala Advaita, Mangala Gunadham, Mangala Charitra Sada, Mangala Jarana. Hare Krishna, we'd like to welcome all of our YouTube Live listeners, our listeners over Facebook Live, and our dear listeners over Zoom. Welcome to all of you to this day 46 of Sri Gauramrita. Before we proceed, we would like to announce and congratulate the participants of the quiz session from day 45 from yesterday. We'd like to congratulate Hari Prasad Prabhu, Mother Flavia, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Radha Mataji, and Ranjani Gopika Mataji. We thank you and congratulate all of you for participating in the quiz session from yesterday.
So today in session 46, we will continue to describe the transcendental treasure trove of Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's youthful and wonderful devotional pastimes. We'll describe how Shri Advaita Acharya worships Lord Gaura Hari.
Then we'll continue to describe the ecstatic dancing of Shri Advaita Acharya Prabhu. Then the special benediction that was granted by the Supreme Lord Shri Gaura Sundar to Shri Advaita Gosai. Then we'll describe about the arrival of Shri Pundarik Vidyanidhi into Nadia and how Shri Gadadhar receives Pundarik's divine mercy.
Then we'll conclude by describing the Phala Stuti, the benefits we receive by listening to these wonderful transcendental pastimes of Shri Gaura Hari. So we start with Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Leela chapter 6, which very wonderfully describes how Shri Advaita Acharya actually worships Lord Gaura. Now, after Shri Advaita Acharya's wonderful fulfillment of his deepest desire of being accepted as the servant, eternal servant of Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Shri Advaita Acharya, he returned to Navadvip from Shantipur. And then the two transcendental brothers, Shri Gaura Nityananda, brought Advaita Gosai along with his family, Shri Haridas Thakur, back to Nadia. There at Srivas Thakur's home, Advaita Gosai actually sat Lord Gaura Hari on the throne of Lord Vishnu and started worshipping the Lord by bathing his lotus feet, along with his wife Srimati Sita Thakurani. So we can see here how Shri Advaita Acharya and Srimati Sita Thakurani are worshipping the lotus feet of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He was very pleased to witness this happiness of his dear devotee, Shri Advaita Acharya. And all the devotees, they were just swimming in an ocean of nectarian bliss. And Sri Advaita Acharya, he is not different than Mahavishnu and Sadashiva combined. He started glorifying the Supreme Lord Sri Gaurasundar. And when Advaita Acharya glorified Lord Gauranga, the devotees felt that he had 5 mouths. And he was just reminding everyone of the Param Vaishnav, Sri Shiva Shambhu Mahadev. Mahadeva Panchamukhe Rama Rama Hare Hare. There is a very nice verse which describes that Mahadev, Lord Shiva, Panchamukhi Mahadev, he has 5 mouths and he chants the holy name of Rama. And so Advaita Acharya, after worshipping the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he wept, started crying along with his wife. Today, my life has actually become successful. My dreams, my desires, they've been fulfilled. Because just seeing your lotus feet, my birth, all of my activities have now gained meaning. He started praying, I'm so incapable. I'm incapable of anything. And everything is made up of your mercy. So other than you, who can liberate the living entities? And tears were just rolling down Advaita Acharya's face as he spoke.
Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who resides in everyone's heart, he lifted his lotus feet and placed them on the head of Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu. So we see here the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu on the top, and these divine lotus feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu were placed upon the head of Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu. And seeing this, all the devotees, they began to glorify the Lord with jubilant sounds, and they were all saying, Hari, Hari, seeing the great fortune that Advaita Acharya was receiving. The devotees, they were losing control of themselves. Some of them, they were rolling on the ground while others were embracing each other, and some just were crying out loudly. This is the kind of happiness that we should feel when others receive mercy. When any other devotee becomes the recipient of the Lord's mercy, then we must be happy for that person. And when we become happy that the other person is receiving the Lord's mercy, then we receive that same mercy coming from the Supreme Lord. This is how spiritual mathematics is. When we are happy for others, we receive that same mercy. This is what Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu also said. So then Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu and Srimati Sita Thakurani, both of them, they brought wonderful offerings for their Lord, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and they were so happy and blissful to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu instructed Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, and he said, "Oh Nara, please see my glories and dance." And why would Mahaprabhu address Advaita Acharya as Nara? It's not Nara means, it's a Bengali term which means that addressing as father. Nara means father. In Bangladeshi Bengali, this Nara word means father. And getting this direct instruction of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya Mahashaya, Gaura Ana Thakur, who is very lovingly addressed by the devotees as Gaura Ana Thakur. Advaita Acharya, amongst his many names, is this one beautiful name, which is called as Gaura Ana Thakur, means the personality who brought Gaura. Gaura Ana Thakur. Ana means brought. So Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, who brought the Lord, he started dancing in great jubilation and with great devotion. Advaita Gosai started dancing, and Mukunda, he started a suite melodious kirtan. And Advaita Acharya Prabhu continued dancing ecstatically in front of Lord Chaitanya.
This dancing of Advaita Acharya Prabhu, it just mesmerized all devotees, and their hearts were filled with ecstatic joy. Then Lord Chaitanya garlanded Advaita Acharya Prabhu with a garland from his own neck, and smilingly said, "Ask for a boon, Advaita Acharya." And Advaita Acharya remained quiet. Still, Lord Vishwambara insisted on his asking for a boon. So Advaita Acharya replied, "What more of a boon can I ask for? What I actually wanted, I have already received. Because you personally watched my dancing, my heart's desire has been completely fulfilled. So what more could I ask for, my Lord? I have seen you in person. That's all that matters." And then Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he inclined his head to one side and said, "I have appeared, Advaita Acharya, Nara, just because of you. I will propagate the chanting of the holy name in every home so that the entire universe may dance, singing my glories. Today, I promise that I will distribute love of Godhead to everyone. That devotional service, which is worshipped and meditated upon by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, that same devotional service will now be given freely to everyone." Advaita Acharya Prabhu became so joyful, and he said, "My dear Lord, if you distribute the love of Godhead, then give it also to the women, to the Shudras, to the fallen, the ignorant people. Let everyone, including the Chandalas, dance in ecstasy while they are chanting your holy name."
Right.
And Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he appreciated the words of Advaita Acharya, and then he roared, "Yes, everything you have said is true. Let the entire world bear witness of your mercy upon the ignorant and fallen conditioned souls."
Thus we see that actually it is the combined desire of the devotees that all of us in Kali Yuga have actually become recipients of this Sankirtan movement of the Lord. That it is because of this desire of Advaita Acharya Prabhu that Mahaprabhu has freely distributed this Krishna Prem to each and every living entity. So Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur in his Chaitanya Bhagavat in Madhya Leela chapter 7 very wonderfully describes about the arrival of a great personality named Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi into Nadia. And he describes that how, although, remember we were saying that Lord Chaitanya appeared in Nadia, but all of his close associates, they appeared in distant lands. And when Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he started his Sankirtan movement, at that time, all the devotees started joining and coming into Nadia, like Nityananda Prabhu came. Now Pundarik is coming. So many other devotees, the Vaishnavas will come and congregate. And then Mahaprabhu will continue the performance of his great Sankirtan Yajna. So who is Pundarik Vidyanidhi? Pundarik Vidyanidhi is the incarnation of Maharaj Vrishabhanu from Krishna Leela, who is the blessed father of Mahabhav Swarupini Srimati Radha Thakurani. Here we see in this picture that the golden child Srimati Radharani is found by her father Maharaj Vrishabhanu in this golden lotus, this pink lotus in the Jamuna. One day in this village called as Raval, Srimati Radharani made her divine appearance. And Maharaj Vrishabhanu had found Srimati Radharani in this way, in this lotus flower, this lotus-like child. So that same Maharaj Vrishabhanu appeared in Sri Gaura Leela as a great, great devotee of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, as Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So Pundarik was a great devotee, and he had met Sri Gaura Sundara when Mahaprabhu had visited Bangladesh. At that time, Pundarik had met Mahaprabhu, and they had very loving exchanges because Lord Chaitanya is a very unique personality. He has within him the bhava of Srimati Radharani, the mood of Srimati Radharani, and Pundarik, being the father of Srimati Radharani, was immediately able to deeply connect with Gauranga Mahaprabhu. They just cried in ecstatic bliss when they had met each other in Bangladesh. So now Pundarik, he had received as if a notification from his heart saying that Gauranga Mahaprabhu has started his Sankirtan movement in Nadia. So therefore, to meet Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Pundarik desired to visit Navadvip. So Pundarik Vidyanidhi made all arrangements and came to Navadvip with many of his disciples.
And then in Navadvip, he remained incognito, like under disguise. And all the ordinary men, they considered, oh, this Pundarik Vidyanidhi is a very lavish materialist. He's attached to a life of comfort. Look at his palace. Look at the high seat that he sits in. He's just so attached to the life of comfort and self-enjoyment. Everyone would think like this, except Mukunda. In fact, no one amongst the Vaishnavas knew about Pundarik Vidyanidhi's arrival in Navadvip. But Sri Mukunda, he was an Ayurvedic Brahmana doctor. He was born in Chottagram, and thus he knew about the wonderful Vaishnava qualities of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Only Mukunda Datta and his brother Vasudev Datta, who was the incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj, knew about the intensity of Pundarik Vidyanidhi's love for God. So now, along with Mukunda, one very great friend of Mukunda was Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit and Mukunda Datta, they were very dear friends, and they always kept each other's company. And so Mukunda Datta, he told Gadadhar Pandit, oh Gadadhar, listen carefully. A very great devotee has come to Navadvip. And I know you have been hankering for the association of pure Vaishnavas, correct? So today your desire will be fulfilled. I'll take you to see this wonderful Vaishnava devotee. But I have a condition. I would like something in return. Gadadhar Pandit said, yes, what can I give you? He said, for this, I simply want in return that you think of me as your dear servant. That's all I want. And so Gadadhar Pandit said, Hare Krishna, you're so humble. And they started proceeding towards the residence of the great Vaishnava Pundarik Vidyanidhi. When they arrived there, Mukunda Datta and Gadadhar Pandit, they found Pundarik Vidyanidhi sitting very comfortably in a high seat. Gadadhar Pandit offered his obeisances, and his servants of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, they took him and respectfully seated them. And so Pundarik Vidyanidhi inquired from Mukunda Datta, what is his name, the friend that you have brought? And which village does he come from? Because I can see that his body is so effulgent. Of course, due to rendering devotional service to the Supreme Lord Vishnu, his form, his demeanor, they're so wonderful. Now, remember that who is Pundarik Vidyanidhi in Krishna Leela?
Maharaj Vrishabhanu.
Maharaj Vrishabhanu. And who is Gadadhar Pandit?
Srimati Radha.
Srimati Radharani. So now the father is meeting the daughter. When Pundarik Vidyanidhi is meeting Gadadhar Pandit does not know who Pundarik Vidyanidhi is, but Pundarik Vidyanidhi knows. But still he inquired from Mukunda, and Mukunda said, his name is Sri Gadadhar. He's very fortunate because from very early childhood, he has been completely detached from family life. His external identity, material identity, is that he's the son of the Brahmana. His father's name is Sri Madhva Mishra. And because he's totally absorbed in devotional service, he only associates with Vaishnavas. He's extremely dear to all the devotees. And when he heard about you, he was so anxious to meet you. So after hearing the wonderful qualities of Gadadhar Pandit, Pundarik Vidyanidhi was very pleased to meet him.
So this great personality, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he sat like a royal prince. His beautiful bed was actually made of wood, which was covered with intricate brass and reddish stone inlay work. Above the bed were 3 tiers of ornamental overhangings made out of glittering brocade strips. He was seated on a soft mattress covered with clean, expensive sheets, and silk pillows were placed under his back. On either side of him, many small and large water pots were there, and there was a shining brass plate with beetle pan, which was neatly prepared, ready for him to eat. There were 2 mirrors, which were ornamented mirrors, which hung on either side of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, and which he was continuously glancing at. He was looking at the mirrors while smiling, and his lips were reddened by the chewing of the pan. He wore sandalwood paste tilak on his forehead, and his face was decorated with dots made with a mixture of sandalwood and some musk. And his hair, it was very well groomed and shining delicately with perfumed oil. 2 persons, they were standing behind him, and they were fanning him gently with a very nice peacock feather. Because he followed a life of pure devotional service, Pundarik looked as charming as Cupid himself. Those who did not know about the great spiritual position of Pundarik, they would consider him to be a very aristocratic prince, because everything about him, about Pundarik, seeing him, everyone would think that he's a person who loves very nice, comfortable, richy, very nice life. So when Gadadhar, when he saw these luxurious items and a general atmosphere of materialistic life, he became very suspicious. And since Gadadhar was a fully renounced soul, he was having some doubts in his mind. He was thinking, what sort of a Vaishnava is this? Why is he surrounded by so much lavish things? And hearing about his devotional mood, I had actually developed so much respect for him. But now, seeing him like this, I am having doubt and suspicion. So Mukunda, he understood the heart and the mind of Gadadhar, and thus he took it upon himself to reveal the true nature of Pundarik Vidyanidhi to Sri Gadadhar.
And so, in very sweet voice, Mukunda began to sing a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which describes the glories of devotional service. He started speaking from Canto 3, Chapter 2, verse 23, where Uddhava is speaking with Vidura. This picture, we can see Uddhava on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. But this verse was spoken by Uddhava to Vidura, and glorifying the supremely merciful nature of Krishna. And that verse meant, alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he, who granted the position of a mother to the she-demon Putana? Putana was unfaithful, always hankering for the blood of human children. With that desire in mind, she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breasts. She came to kill Krishna. But because she offered her service to the Lord, she attained the greatest achievements.
Aho bakiyam stanakalakutam jigham shrayapaya yadapyasadvi lebhe gatim dhatri uchitam tatonyam kam va dayalum sharanam vrajema.
Here we can see in the photograph, this is Putana trying to give milk, feed milk to baby Krishna. As we can see behind that beautiful lady, if you see, there is a face of a monster. That's Putana in the form of this beautiful lady. But because she had, even though her intentions were bad, but she still offered her service of feeding milk to Krishna. Krishna just looked at the good in her and gave her the position of a nurse. And so when Mukunda sang these words from Srimad Bhagavatam, as soon as these words concerning devotional service entered into the ears of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he began to weep. Tears of ecstatic love just welled up in his eyes, and he fell down from his seat and started rolling down his face profusely like streams of Ganga. Simultaneously, all the symptoms of ecstasy started manifesting. He was weeping, trembling, rolling, roaring, and finally he went into an unconscious state of ecstasy. And suddenly he regained consciousness and he said in a loud voice, "Speak, speak, continue, continue the verse," and again fell down to the ground, remembering the words. He was so agitated with spiritual emotions, this Pundarik Vidyanidhi, that he kicked everything that was near him and all of his luxurious paraphernalia. It went crashing to the ground.
All the shining brass pots of water, the container of beetle pan, pillows, bed sheets, everything became scattered. He began tearing his fine clothes, and his well-groomed hair went haywire, and he wept and rolled in the ground. He was just saying, "Krishna, my Lord, my soul, my very life, you have made my heart melt in love for you. I am just so fallen that I'm deprived of the Lord's association in this most merciful incarnation of His." In this way, the storm of ecstatic love continued until it finally abated and Pundarik fell into an unconscious state of bliss. He lay down without breathing, totally submerged in an ocean of spiritual ecstasy. Amazed at what he was witnessing, Gadadhar Pandit began to worry. He started thinking, what inauspicious has overcome me to make me think that in such an offensive manner about this great personality? And Gadadhar just embraced Mukunda and he said, "Mukunda, you are my true friend. It would be very difficult to find another pure Vaishnava like Pundarik anywhere in this entire creation. One can become totally purified simply by observing the devotional attitude of Sri Vidyanidhi. Today, because you are right next to me, I have been able to avoid a great catastrophe. Because when I saw all that luxurious things and the way he was, behaving, I had doubt. But I'm so happy that you could read my mind. And being a great magnanimous soul that you are, you revealed to me the unlimited extent of Pundarik Vidyanidhi's love for Krishna. I have therefore decided to take shelter of this great personality, Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi. I know that I can actually counteract all my offenses by accepting him as my spiritual master and I becoming his disciple." So Mukunda said, "Yes, yes, very good, very good." So Pundarik Vidyanidhi who was in this ecstatic coma for 6 long hours. When he gradually came back to consciousness, Gadadhar Pandit, it was impossible for him to control his tears of ecstasy and joy. And when Pundarik Vidyanidhi saw Gadadhar Pandit crying like this, he could immediately understand, and he came and embraced Gadadhar. Pundarik immediately accepted Gadadhar as his disciple, thus fulfilling the innermost desire of Sri Gadadhar Pandit. Then Sri Pundarik came along with Gadadhar and met with Lord Gaura and all the Vaishnavas. Lord Gaura held Pundarik Vidyanidhi in a loving embrace, wetting him with his own loving tears. We can see here how Gauranga Mahaprabhu is crying tears of ecstasy, and he held Pundarik and embraced him, and they were crying. For some time, the Lord was unable to move, remaining like a statue. He held Pundarik Vidyanidhi in his close embrace.
Then when the Lord came back out of trance, he began to chant the name of Hari, Hari, Hari. And he said, today Lord Krishna has been very merciful to me. He has fulfilled all my desires. I have met a person of my heart's desire. And then Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he greeted all the Vaishnavas very fondly. They began to chant the holy name together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he introduced Pundarik Vidyanidhi to everyone, saying, his name is Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And in fact, the Lord has created him specially to distribute the love of God. And when the devotees heard this, they responded happily. They lifted their arms and started chanting, Hari, 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 Hari. Anyone who hears this meeting between Gadadhar Pandit and Pundarik Vidyanidhi will gradually experience the highest ecstasies of the love of Godhead. And whoever listens to this pastime of Sri Advaita Gosai receiving Lord Gaura's mercy, he'll be able to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with love. And Sri Gaura Sundar, Sri Nityananda Ram will chant and dance in their hearts for all eternity. If you just hear these pastimes attentively. Ekhane rohila grantha, Amrita lahari, badan bhare ekbar, bolo Hari Hari, Hari Hari, Hari Hari.
So today we continue to pray for His Grace Pankajangri Prabhu and all the devotees in Sri Mayapur Dham. We also continue to pray for Vijay Lakshmi Mataji, for the mother of our dearest Jigna. And she's actually doing very well. She's really recovering very well by the prayers of all the devotees. We also pray for the family of Kirti, Madhubhashini Mataji and family. We pray for the family of Anju Mataji and family. We pray for the family of Mother Flavier and all her family. We also pray for the family of Bhakti Priya and her parents. So Bhakti Priya's parents are in need of all of our prayers. They have mildly tested for being positive, so please keep their family in all of our prayers. We pray for Lavanya Mataji's family, for Radha Mataji's family, for Keshavi Mataji's family, for Shweta Manjari Mataji's family, for Nutan Purohit Mataji and all of her family, and for all the Vaishnavas and devotees around the world. Hare Krishna. May Lord Nrsingadev protect everyone. Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Acharya Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Deshatani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Gaura Mahaprabhu ki
Jai,
Pundarik Vidyanidhi ki
Jai,
Gadadhar Pandit ki
Jai,
Advaita Acharya ki
Jai,
Nityananda Prabhu ki
Jai,
Prabhupada ki
Jai, Jai, Rivo.
So we will read the questions for today and then open the lines for any other questions after that. First, who were the devotees reminded of when they saw Sri Advaita Acharya glorify Lord Chaitanya? Second, how should we feel when other devotees receive mercy?
Third, why would Lord Chaitanya address Sri Advaita Acharya as Nara? Fourth, what is Sri Advaita Acharya called as he was instrumental in the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Fifth, who is Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi Vrindavan Leela? And who is the father of Sri Gadadhar Pandit in Caitanya Leela?
Very good question. Seventh, who took Sri Gadadhar Pandit to meet Srila Pundarik Vidyanidhi? Why did Sri Gadadhar Pandit doubt the exalted nature of Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi?
Eighth, how was Sri Gadadhar Pandit's doubt dispelled? And ninth, who initiated Sri Gadadhar Pandit?
10th, what is the Phala Stuti appearing about the pastime of the meeting of Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Sri Gadadhar Pandit? 11th, what is the Phala Stuti appearing about the pastime of Sri Advaita Acharya receiving the mercy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu? Jai, fantastic questions. Thank you so much, dearest Divyangi and Prabhudas Prabhu. So now we'd like to open up the lines for any questions or comments. Garima?
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. How blessed to share our
Beta.
I love the class and I really love the story Advaita Acharya. I can't remember the
Pundarik Vidyanidhi.
yeah. I love that story and yeah, I love this class today. So thank you for the class today. And since you were talking about Gadadhar Pandit, I wanted to show the Gadadhar Pandit. I have not completed it, but I will complete it and I will send it.
Thank you, Beta. We look forward to seeing it completed. Thank you so much, Bacha.
And I also want to show you that I drew this Radharani.
Oh, wonderful, Beta. Thank you.
I drew it 2 months ago, but I forgot to show it.
Oh, thank you for the darshan.
Haribo.
Thank you for the class, Mataji and Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Beta. Hare Krishna. Kirti?
Evo.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Glory to Sri Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga.
Haribo, Kirti, so good to hear from you, Beta, after so long.
Yeah, Mataji and Prabhuji, I miss you both so much. I really enjoyed today's class, how it was about Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Gadadhar Pandit. And I have one question to ask. So my question was who was Mukunda Datta and Rajalila? Because Gadadhar Pandit was Radharani, and then Pundarik Vidyanidhi was Rishabhanu. So who was Mukunda Datta and Rajalila?
I'll have to look it up, Beta. Do you remember?
I know his brother, Mukunda Datta Prabhu's brother, was Vasudev Datta, who is Prahlad Maharaj. And but Mukunda Datta, we're not sure. We'll let you know after.
We'll have to look it up. We don't remember it on top of our minds. Who is Mukunda Datta?
Okay, Mataji and Prabhuji. I have a drawing to share.
So we are not
1 minute, Beta.
Yeah, we are not able to see anyone.
Could we
insect.
Could we not have our ourselves spotlighted, please, Divyangi from Vikas Prabhu? So that way we can see in the inlet.
Others.
Oops. What was that? Okay, all right. Okay, Kirti, please continue, Beta.
This is a drawing. So my mom and I drew this drawing. Oh, 1 second. Let me off my virtual back.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, my mom and I drew it together.
Beautiful, Kirti. Please send us pictures, Beta.
Sure, Mataji Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji Prabhuji, for a beautiful session. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Beta. Thank you. Love you. Haribol. Anjali.
Hare Krishna, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna.
Jadu, jadu, jadu. So beautiful, these pastime, nectarian, like, we are really blessed to have your divine association. Jai Nimai, Jai Nitai, Jai Gadadhar Panditji. So, like, really we're fortunate, like, कुछ भी नहीं मालूम, मैं तो यही सोचती हूँ, like, we are such fallen souls. अज्ञानी होते हैं ना, like, totally अज्ञानी. And now, little we are just, like, tube light के जैसे हम जल रहे हैं, छोटा, like, bulbs. We are just like the things, and like, दिमाग की बत्ती अब थोड़ी, like, जलने लगी है. So beautiful the pastimes. It really teaches you also so lot, these pastimes. If you hear them and just think about them with your closed eyes, devotees, like, otherwise we become so like, egoistic or something. Other ego comes up so much, like, thoda sa karte hain, oh wow, we are such big things. Nahi, hum kuch bhi nahi hai when you hear all these pastimes. Like, you are not even charno ki dhool of Bhagwan ji. Really, thank you so much, and thank you for such, and dedicating kirtan for everybody, and really pray for everyone. Like, we just want a healthy world right now. Bhagwan ji bas yahi rakhe, sabko swasth rakhe. And wish you a very happy Navratri starting in US today. So,
Yes.
and for us also, it's so beautiful, the Navratri. And now I'm waiting for my surprise and
Yes, coming soon.
coming to. Thank you so much for everything, Bhaiya Bhavi. Love you loads.
Love
Thank you
too.
so much. And thank you, Garima and Kirti, for you're so talented. These pictures, I have to make a drawing of mine. Hopefully, I should complete it, and then I
Okay.
can share.
We'll be looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, sure. These children are so inspirational for me. I'm so inspired with them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Shri Radhe.
Hare Bol.
Any other questions or comments, anyone?
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Prabhu, we
Prabhuji.
can hear
hear
you.
you. Go
Hear
ahead.
you. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much for your wonderful session and beautiful bhajan as well. Mataji, I have two questions. I'll ask first the one which you're saying now, right? Navaratri, right? You said like it starts, right? I'm not sure because here we'll celebrate in the month of September, right? And Navaratri will come. So what is the reason behind that your people are celebrating?
So this is also in connection, again, this is also in connection with Lord Ramachandra. You see, Lord Sri Ram Navami is coming. So, before Ram Navami, these 9
Yeah.
days are celebrated as Navratri also.
Navaratri. Okay. So that is why you people are celebrating. And one more question I have, like, so it is said like we need, for yesterday I heard one session about the Ramayana. So they said like before surrender to Lord, we need to surrender to his concert first. So now here we are doing right. We are surrender to Krishna in whatever session we are in Bhagavad Gita and whatever it may be. So they are advising like please surrender to Krishna. Even he said in that slogan 66, right? So how can we understand here? We need to surrender first to Radharani and then we need to surrender to Krishna in that way, or how can we understand, Mataji?
That's a very nice question. So if I understand your question correctly, you're saying we should surrender to Krishna, but you heard that to surrender to Krishna, we have to surrender to Radharani first.
Yes,
so
yes.
should we surrender to Radharani or to Krishna?
Yeah.
So it's a fact that we cannot approach Krishna directly. We must surrender to Krishna, but to surrender to Krishna, we have to surrender to Radharani. To surrender to Radharani, we have to surrender to her gopis and her servants. To surrender to them, we have to surrender to the servants of the gopis. And in this way, if you keep going servant of the servant of the servant, we have to actually surrender to our spiritual master, who is the representative of Srimati Radharani. And to surrender to our spiritual master, we should surrender to his disciples. So the process of surrender is to surrender to those that are dear to him. So yes, ultimately we have to surrender to Krishna. But what is the process of surrendering to Krishna? To surrender to his servant. And to surrender to his servant is to surrender to his servant. So like that. And Krishna is more pleased if we surrender to the servant of Krishna and please them than if we say, oh, I want to surrender directly to Krishna. We are not qualified to surrender directly to Krishna. Even when we are offering bhoga, we are not offering bhoga directly to Krishna. We are not offering to Krishna. We are offering to our Guru Maharaj, and through parampara, it goes to Krishna. So ultimately, it goes to Krishna, but not directly. Through the Guru and everyone it goes, and that's how we accept. That's how Krishna accepts our service. So both are correct. We have to surrender to Krishna, but to surrender to Krishna, we have to surrender to his service.
Yeah.
And
Thank
similarly,
you.
the same way that when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that's why you
Yeah.
see, even before saying Hare Krishna, we are actually saying the name of Hare. That is
Yeah.
Srimati Radharani.
Radharani.
And if
Yes.
you
Yes.
see, Krishna, the name of Krishna appears in the Mahamantra how many times? It appears 4 times.
4 times. Yeah.
Rama appears also 4 times.
4 times. Yeah.
But Srimati Radharani's name appears 8 times.
Okay.
So therefore we are all Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa 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 Das. We are trying to surrender to the servant of the servant of the servant of Srimati Radharani. That is how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu taught us, and that is what is the teachings of Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. It is very clear now how to surrender now. It is clear. Thank you so much. Thank you
for
so
the
much.
question, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Radhe. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Mataji, just want to share something quickly.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, that's Krishna?
That.
What is that?
Oh, Krishna, that is so cute.
That's 3 cows.
That's a cows.
Wow.
Three
Cows.
cows. Oh, okay.
They're Lali. Lali and Lali's daughters. I mean,
Calves.
calves. Lali and Lali's calves.
Okay, happy?
Wonderful.
Happy. Thank you, Mataji Prabhuji. So thank you. Thank you, Mataji Prabhuji.
Haribol.
Any other questions, comments? Not, we can end here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Beautiful class, very nice description of the Advaita Acharya and Gadadhar Pandit. Hari Bol, thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji
Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavas Pranam.
Thank you
Jai
so
Shri
much.
Prabhuji. Thank you for beautiful class and beautiful bhajan, Mataji. Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Kamashi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Roshan. Nice to see you. Hari Bol.